Good evening. Welcome to the September 16th, 2024 meeting of the East Bridgewater Board of Health. On the agenda, we have a hearing and an appointment at 5:15 and 5:30 respectively. Until 5:15, we will jump into action items. First action item, we have invoices for Crystal Walk Water, invoice in the amount of $10.58. I will entertain a motion to pay the invoice as presented.
I'll make a motion to pay the invoice.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Next, we have two sets of meeting minutes to approve. Minutes for August 19th, 2024, and for August 27th, 2024. I will make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion on the minutes?
Excuse me.
Hearing none.
Well, hold on.
Chair, I'm
Oh.
sorry. Rob, I believe, was not present for the 19th.
Oh.
So could we just take those in individual motions?
Sure. That makes
Thank you.
sense. All right, so let me, I will make a motion to accept the August 19th, 2024 minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And for the record, I abstain.
And for the August 27th, 2024 meeting minutes, I will make a motion to accept those as presented.
I'll second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so both are approved. Next, we've got disposal system construction permits. Local, excuse me, local upgrade to 91 Grove Street, East Bridgewater. And that is requesting a variance, correct?
From reduction of 4 feet to groundwater to 3. They understand there'll be a restriction on the property limiting it to a 3-bedroom.
Any issues with that application?
No.
All right. I will make a motion to accept the local upgrade as presented for 91 Grove Street. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, we have a local upgrade to 142 Chestnut Street.
Same thing, asking for a 3-foot to groundwater reduction and also to use a sieve analysis in lieu of a perk test.
All right,
Both have restrictions in the property to a 3-bedroom.
okay. Any issues on that one?
No.
All right. I will accept the motion to approve the upgrade to 142 Chestnut Street.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have 3 new construction sites. We've got 16 Marvel Street, East Bridgewater. We've got residential townhouses on West Street and 692 Elm Street, East Bridgewater. Any issues with any of the new construction permits?
No, the first two we already had before. They didn't have the reserve area over the test holes. They moved the reserve area to be over the test holes. 359 to 369 West Street. There's 8 townhouses going in. They're going to mirror what's there already. And they did the holes 2 weeks ago, so they're all set too. And there's nothing with 692 Elm Street. They're fine.
All right. I will accept a motion to, excuse me, to approve 16 Marvel Street. We can do all 3 at once, right?
Yes.
Residential towers on West Street and the 692 Elm Street new construction applications.
I'll make that motion.
All right, I will second that motion. Any discussion on the new construction? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have a new food establishment, or new ownership, I should say. Honeydew Donuts on 479 North Bedford Street.
Right.
Any issues with the application?
The application's complete.
And the inspection hasn't been done yet, but I anticipate it will be sometime this week.
Okay. All right, I will move to approve the new establishment, or new ownership, I should say, Honeydew Donuts, to be approved pending at the inspection. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next, we've got two installer licenses. First, we have Dick Morse Excavating, Inc. is a new license, and we have a renewal for Clancy Contracting, Inc.
Both applications are complete.
All right. Any discussion on the installer licenses? Hearing none. I will entertain a motion to approve the installer licenses.
I'll make that motion.
And do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Next up, we have a betterment loan application for 319 Highland Street in the amount of $25,000.
That's an estimated amount cost,
Oh.
as you know, and that their application is complete to date.
Okay. So the application is complete at that estimated amount at this point in time. I will make a motion to approve the application for 319 Highland Street.
I'll second that motion.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. So we've got a
We could probably do number 8, since that won't. And if-
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I'm going to jump around a little bit on our agenda here and move into a discussion of the flu clinic.
So in the last couple of years, we've had a flu clinic or 2 or 3 at the Council on Aging. Attendance has been slight. By that, I mean below 30. If we get below 30, then we start paying for it versus reimbursement. So the question is, do you still want to offer it? Because you want people to continue to go to the Council on Aging for some services?
And also, you'll have in your packet, the board, you do have from Heather.
Our
who's
discussion.
our, public nurse, and her recommendation on whether to hold the flu clinic or not, and her reason as to why.
Probably the same as mine. What's happening in healthcare, I don't know if you guys have hit it or not. I know when I go for my vaccine, my doctor tells me to go to a local pharmacy. So it's all been kind of pushed that way. We usually have Walgreens come in and provide the meds, provide 4 or 5 different vaccines: shingles, RSV, chickenpox, MMR, tetanus, COVID, and flu. Usually, whatever, the mainstay of it.
Yeah.
So people can, when they sign up, they ask for which one, let us know which ones they need. But just to let you know, if it drops below a certain number, we have to pick
Then we're
up
out
the
of it.
cost.
So do you know what our last attendance was?
33, I think.
Okay. and-
We also need a 6-week lag time because it needs to go into the newsletter.
Mhm.
So we're probably looking at probably the October one, not September.
No.
And I think, is October out already?
I believe they.
You could probably get up, enough publicity to have it then. If you still want to have
But
it.
Heather would have to contact the pharmacy and even make sure that they're even offering it.
Yeah.
Have we spoken to Nancy, what her thoughts are?
Well, Nancy, and if, in the letter from Heather,
Right.
Nancy and Susan are just saying that there have been some interest there. it's not that there hasn't been any interest. We have been getting sporadic phone calls from residents asking if there would be any clinics. Same thing with Nancy and Sue. But Heather just stating in her letter here, just that.
Right, I read that.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
didn't-
time
we
to
didn't-
put it in the
we
news.
didn't
we
really
need
talk
the
to
time to
them,
put it
so-
in there, and she would have to reach out to the pharmacy, and with the decline, and if that's the case, that we have to pay under 30.
So what is it per person when we get under 30?
It depends on the vaccine. I hate to say it that way, but
Okay,
it really does.
that's fair, but what's the top? What's, if the most expensive vaccine, we're under 30?
I know the RSV last year was $85 a dose. The others run 30 to 40. And a lot of them do have insurance that will pay for it, but it's the underinsured or not adequately insured.
Okay, but we don't have visibility to that number right now. How many were underinsured?
It really does vary to year. And a lot of people are asking now because they want to go to Florida or wherever they go for the winter. So we'd be looking at a clinic maybe the last week in October and maybe the second week in November would be when we'd have our clinics.
When was the last clinic we held?
I think it was the week before Thanksgiving. We had one December,
Well, we had 2 last year.
one in December and one the week before Thanksgiving.
I thought we had one.
Holidays, basically.
Well, also because of the lag time needed to get it in the newsletter. But if someone needs it before they go south, we recommend they go to their pharmacy.
I'm leaning towards we run it at least one more time. And then we can get the word out that if it's, it's not successful, then we would have to stop it.
Okay.
That's my humble opinion.
What are we doing to get the word out in general?
It just goes with the Council of Aging newsletter.
And on
then
the
we
website
And we
and-
place it up on our website. Then the town will put it out on the main front of the website. And then I'll just do some flyers up and just spread them around.
But a lot of the people that use that service are not people that generally go to a website.
Right.
So that we'll get the calls and we'll make the appointments and then send them a letter that says, on this date at this time is your appointment, don't forget short sleeve shirts, that kind of, bring your insurance card, things like that.
I think I'm with Rob in that, if it's something that we've done and it's somewhat expected, maybe we hold one and let people know, in no uncertain terms, like we need people to come to these, or
They need to be supported, yeah,
or we're not going to be putting them on.
yeah.
I understand they are pushing them at like CVS and stuff. I think I called for a prescription, and one of the options now is, are you calling to get your flu shot? So, I think that would be my thought, and maybe see what we can do to somewhat boost the publication, or getting as many people out, or at least getting the word out there, so nobody's missing it who would be showing up otherwise.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
I'm in line with both of you. I say offer it again. Even if it costs a couple of bucks to give it to the people who can't get it, it's worth it.
Okay, so I can reach out to Heather and we can start getting that going.
All right. Do we have to take a vote on this?
I would just take a vote on it, just to make a motion, just that you would like to.
All right, I'll make a motion to move forward on a flu clinic or flu shot clinic for 2024,
Vaccine clinic?
or vaccine in general clinic.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
All right?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So at 5:15, we are opening a continued hearing on 105 CMR 410, on the minimum standards of fitness for human habitation, sanitary code, chapter 11, involving Wishbone Realty Trust, and 90 Central Street. Do we have the parties here?
Not that they're admitting to it. No, I guess we don't. From my end, my last inspection was last Friday, or Thursday, and it's complete. We're complete. I consider the case closed.
All right, so procedurally, we just need to close the hearing and take no further action at this time?
Yep.
All right. Well, I will make a motion to close the hearing and take no further action at this time. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on this one?
No.
All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I don't know if we have time to,
Go back, you can go back to number 7 now.
let's jump back over to agenda item number 7, which is the Bridge Street landfill project discussion.
So at the last meeting we had on, date was that, August? No.
27.
Yeah, August 27th. I thought I was going to say the wrong date. The board decided to reject the bids and rebid it. Well, we checked out the information that we were giving regarding the Department of Transportation, the bid specs, whether or not we should be following their procedure, and I checked with both. Charlie did some checking into it, and I did too. Old County Planning Council has a huge section of 5 people that deal with Department of Transportation issues. So I called Charles Kilmer, and he told me that it's not a Department of Transportation funded project. It's not on a highway, a routed highway, and it's not even really on a street. I mean, we're not fencing a street, we're fencing a property. So it does not have to meet any specifications. The specifications for DOT projects are so that trucks and cars don't go through the fencing. So there's a very different standard of fencing and reinforcement than this project calls for. So my question to the board is, given that, do you want to spend the money for engineering, which we're looking at, do we put those bids in, $15,000 to $20,000 extra, and then rebid it? Or what would you like to do? I think there's an email from Charlie in there. Let's see the date. Just so we can get this project moving and be in compliance with Department of Environmental Protection's concerns.
So
Yeah.
what we're saying is DOT doesn't have,
It doesn't apply to this
Okay.
project, basically. Not the specs, not the concerns, nothing. It's not a DOT funded, not a DOT
Okay.
specification.
Do we know, I mean, one thing that I think sort of appealed to me with the potential of using the DOT standards is just that we would have a set written standard for the whole project, but
But that kind of fencing and that kind of enclosures are made so trucks coming off a highway don't go through it. It's a huge, different kind of a,
so yeah, that was my next question is, you know, how far off of, I guess, those DOT standards are we currently?
we don't have the same kind of reinforcement. I mean, you wouldn't be doing mesh, you would be doing stainless steel type barriers, the big solid ones, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Frankly, if someone's gonna go through a fence and they want to, they're gonna do it. We're just fencing it off for security reasons as required by the original permit from Department of Environmental Protection. So, I'm just putting the fence back where it was supposed to be.
and they don't have any guidelines or specifications that
Not in the permit, no, not at all. They don't now either,
Okay.
not for landfill fencing. This would be very similar to what's up at Republic or on Thatcher Street and BF By, I think is the one in Brockton, same fencing. Same fencing that's out here, just 6 feet. And we're just gonna pull the fencing off the road so that the big trucks that have to take the recycled goods or the wood pulp out can get off the road without having to stop on the road.
Right. Assuming we decide not to spend the money to actually have it spec'd by an engineering firm, do we think our specifications were detailed enough, given that we had a pretty large spread of bids?
I thought they were, but I'm not a fencing person.
Excuse me, they were down the engineering today. Somebody was down there doing engineering.
Oh, excuse me.
With transit
No,
and-
that is our that quarterly I was down there this morning. That is our quarterly monitoring. They take water samples and gas samples out of the vents. We do that
Looked
every
like
quarter.
they were on the street, so it looked like they were
Oh,
surveying or whatever.
they were looking-
Mind if I come up?
Go ahead.
Come on.
We're missing 2 probes we can't find. They're little metal pipes that have screw tops on them. And there's 2 up on Bridge Street that we can't find them. I don't know whether the grass has grown over. I haven't been on the project long, let me put it that way. I don't know if the grass has grown over them, or somebody paved over them, or dirt got into them. So we're missing 2 for the last quarterly monitoring that we did. They were out with the metal detectors trying to find them. That's really all they were doing, because I was out there. I was counting the vents, making sure the vents were up where they're supposed to be, checking the condition. I go out every 6 months with them. But this is our September monitoring.
All right, let me just, if you don't mind, I'm Tom Hamilton, I live at 930 Bridge Street, right across the street from the recycling/landfill. These are some of the neighbors as well. We have a couple of questions, I guess, and concerns about the whole project. One is the biggest concern that we have. Nobody has any objections, I know, of the fencing going up and all that. We understand there were kids that were riding dirt bikes and ATVs in there and all that. I think that's been addressed, and a lot of those kids were from Bridgewater, and I know police a couple of times have talked to them and got them out of there. The other, we have some concerns, mostly with the under notice from the DEP on non-compliance. We don't know what that means. What does it mean? What is it? And you're talking about posts being knocked over.
And please understand, I haven't been here that long either, so I just kind of picked this up when the first inspection reports came in through me and said, oh, we got some issues or concerns. When you close a landfill, there's certain conditions you have to meet. One of them, this was closed in 1988. At that time, stockade fencing was okay. Now it's not, and you can kind of see why. It rots and falls over. So we're actually repairing the fencing that was originally there to be in compliance, because DEP has said you don't have a fence around the front. So that's what the fencing project is. We have what they call gas probes, where we check methane gas and other types of gas. Those are on town property before. It's only a violation when it goes off town property. Okay? So the probes are all on our town property, and the water analysis is also done in the wells. You go around, you see 3 to 4 inch ones that are sticking up, maybe 3. Those are the water monitoring wells. And those are all the way around the property. So we do probably 22 water monitoring samples, some in the river in the back, some on the sides. They're done quarterly. And so isn't the gas. The gas is basically, when a landfill burps, it burps out methane gas. Those vents are there so that it goes up instead of moving sideways under the cap, under the soil. So that's what we're concerned about, is making sure our vents stay up so that the gas goes up. Your nose are gonna smell it way below at a level that would be considered harmful. That happens with a lot of smells. I mean, a good example of that is a skunk. It's not quite harmful, but you don't really want to be around it. We don't want anything to happen to the cap, because we capped that in 1988. There were certain standards there, and we're under that monitoring standard now. If something happens and we have to repair the cap or any part of that landfill capping, we would have to come under today's standards, and that would be at a much greater cost for us. We have a 30-year permit. After 30 years, we can petition DEP to only do the monitoring once a year. And we're getting very close to that. We'll be up in 2028. And that will cut probably 3 monitorings a year off of what we pay for now. So that's kind of our game. And then I think the Department of Public Works, which takes care of what goes on there and the recycling center and everything, their game plan may be to put solar out there after we get through. Board of Health only takes care of the monitoring and the permit. Nothing else.
Well, I think that's the biggest concern is one, it's been under non-compliance in 2019, and now we're just finding out about it.
I
We don't
only
know
came
if-
in
well,
22, so.
Let me finish for a minute here, please. In that, the fact that it's been under non-compliance for 5 years. Now, I've been in my house for 38 years. When we first moved in 86, I think it was, 86, 85, 86, we used to get a report every year of the readings. I had no idea what it meant, but at the end, it always said, it's fine, basically. So, and 3 or 4 times, they used to come in, they used to knock on the door, can we come in your house and take readings in the house? And they did. We let them come in, everything was fine, no problem. Then all of a sudden it was stopped. I assumed everything was fine, but now we're hearing that pipes are broken and everybody and their brother's getting blamed for this and that and everything else. And, you know, there's no trespassing signs there, there never has been at all there. So the fence is broken, you would expect a picket fence to break, absolutely. And we're just concerned as to, with the pipes broken, what does that mean? What does that mean for the air quality? What does it mean for the water? And I think, Ms. Joyce, when I talked to you, you said there may be some restrictions on some lands as far as what they can do with, when we talked, I said, you said something about the groundwater, we couldn't have a well.
That was part of the original closure in 2008.
Right, but then I said,
1998, sorry.
can I have a well for irrigation? And it was no. So I'm going, okay, I never knew this in all the time that I've been there, that I can't put a well in for irrigation. So, to me, that's, that's no here and there, I can work around that, that's not an issue. The biggest concern that everyone is with the pipes being knocked over, the gases that are coming out. What does it do with the pipes broken? What does it mean if the pipes clogged inside? If they were broken, did dirt get in? Did some animals get in there and start living in there? I don't know. Everyone's concern is what is the air quality and water quality like? And if you get quality monitoring, is there any way we could get a copy of the reports, the neighbors?
In around 2005, I'm not sure, like I said, none of these board members nor
Right.
this staff has been here. Every single one of us, maybe 3 years max, I think. So we're just coming into the project, and when I discovered it, I started moving towards correction. All DEP, all monitoring is online and has been since probably 2015. So I can pretty much say that they probably stopped paper at one point and went to electronics. That being said, I have all the monitoring reports upstairs, or most of them, okay? And if I don't have them, I can certainly get them for you.
Can we have them sent to the neighbors?
Sir, some of them are 110.
Well, no, I'm just saying from the last year. I mean, I don't want everything from 2005. I mean,
Well, yeah, because they'll summarize the last 3 or 4 years
Well,
for you.
Well, can we put a link on our page of the
Yeah.
town
I
website?
certainly can do that, yeah.
Just,
In
send
fact,
it
we
out,
just
sure.
got
I
one.
mean, people are
Save a little
concerned
bit
that,
of money.
it's, the wind blows, and it blows that way.
Well,
And
methane gas goes up.
I don't
much
know.
lighter than
I
air.
don't know that.
It's much lighter than air is.
I'm not a gas guy, so. All I know is my
I
house
think
is
putting the
dirty.
link would be the easiest.
Well, that would be a good thing.
And anybody can check at any time, you don't have to have
Right.
100 pages
And then
sticking around your house.
if we had questions, who would we direct the questions to on it?
I actually, when you got a letter, right? You all got letters? Yeah.
Right.
It says who to talk to down there, it's me.
It's you.
Yeah,
right? So
only
you'd
'cause
be
I'm-
the- You'd be the go-to person if we had questions or anything?
And you came up and looked at my paperwork and went, no, I don't really need to read all of that. It's it's large, but I can get you through it pretty quick, and
Does it come with an executive summary? Just kind of like the,
it actually does.
it does?
Yep,
Okay.
actually, I wrote one up, so you can, you can go on that one. Yeah, there's a two-pager that tells you the history, tells you what we're going, where we're going to, why we're doing this. And that's pretty much it. As a reminder, the landfill is not public access. It's more like your water treatment plant and your sewage treatment plant and your DPW yard, where even though it's town-owned, it's maybe not a good idea to go on it. Our concerns are, we just don't want that cap ruined, because that would be financially a hardship, and
How deep is the cap?
the cap goes, probably, it's covered, there's two sections. The one that was done in 1988 is clay, red clay, kind of the
Right.
color of the chairs. That's down about 7 to 10 feet. The one that's closer to you guys was done with high-density plastic. So what they did is they had whatever was there, and then they laid in stone, what we call trenches. And then at the junctions of any of the trenches, because the gas will go through the stone, it then goes into one of those big white pipes. It goes out, instead of traveling to the end of the cap and out. So there's interceptor trenches all the way through, and the vents are on top of the interceptor. So it's capped at, like, I think at two different levels. One's maybe at 20 feet and one's at 10 feet. So they probably put stuff down, capped it, put more stuff on top of it, capped it again. And then it has clay and sand and gravel on top with grass. And the grass does take care of some of the gases. You guys all know when you fertilize, you're putting nitrogen and phosphorus and things out there. Those are gases that are lighter than air, and they come up through.
Is there any concern then with the grass being cut? As it's being cut now?
As part of the DEP permit, we have to cut it.
It's
Because
cut by
the-
private citizens, but
As part of the DEP permit, it has to be cut, meaning the town has to maintain it.
okay. What about the vehicles that are parked there? And I know you don't,
Like
I
I
know
said-
it's all, but I think the way I look
I
at
think
it, I know
you
you
did-
said it's the DPW that controls that,
Yep.
and that's fine, but I kind of look at it as dual responsibilities.
It's not, though. I don't have a
Because
figure
you're
to
you're
get.
responsible for the Board of Health section, of the gases, the capping and all that. They're responsible for the land and maintaining the land.
Right. The hours of the
So-
recycling center, what goes in and out, that's all the DPW.
Right,
So Mr. Haynes would be the appropriate person to talk to about that.
right. But people are concerned with the gas, that's the thing. I know you said it goes up, but it gets blown all over there too.
It's similar to what comes out of your vent pipes at your house.
Well, the volume's higher though, right? Is the volume higher?
Not-
It's the
nope.
same as what comes out of my house?
I think some places it might even be lower. I'm not positive because we don't monitor your house.
No, I know
I
you.
mean, you know what I'm saying? We don't have levels for what comes out of a stink pipe on a house. But those gases are all lighter than air. They do go up.
But there hasn't been any levels or any report that we've seen, and we get them quarterly, that, there's been any cause of concern.
No.
It's just a matter of, getting the fence fixed. There was, for whatever reason, a couple of broken pipes. I think that John's ordered those.
They're all fixed,
They're all fixed, okay.
except maybe one. I saw one that was doing a little bit of a lean. But most of them have been fixed, and 6 of them were getting what we call passive air vents.
Okay.
Just, silver thing on the top that goes when the wind blows, to pull the methane gas out if it needs to. Just give it a little boost.
And I think also getting the link out to the reports, and you can check them on your own at any point in time, have anybody that you want to look at them, advise. We've been pretty comfortable with the reports that we've been getting. Again, it's just more of a maintenance issue than.
I think one of the things that kind of concerns the neighbors is the last 3-4 years, there's been different things scheduled or planned to be built over there.
I have
And
no knowledge.
nobody knew, I know you weren't here, I don't think, at the time, but I think some of you guys on the board, it was originally a police firing range scheduled to go over there.
That must have been a long time ago.
That was 3 years ago.
Wasn't that long ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not heard one
Well, see,
peep.
that's the problem. That's,
3 years
that's
ago.
it was about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
At the same time, we all got a letter on a Friday to join a Zoom meeting with the fire department because they were looking to put a training facility over there
That I remember.
In a burn house.
in a burn
Burn house, that I remember.
How can you do that? No, it's gas.
Right, right.
So how can you do that? We didn't know. Both, I don't think anybody had, and you guys speak out if I'm wrong, I don't want to speak out of turn. We had no problem with the firing range, the police firing range there.
Yeah.
The issue we had is that, one, we weren't asked or shouldn't be asked, notified, because, you know, there's people with pets and there's people with little kids, and we just want to know the time frame when you're gonna do it.
Well, wasn't that the reason for the Zoom meeting was?
No, that was for the fire pit, the
Oh,
fire
okay,
department
for the,
training
okay,
centers.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And that, I don't remember the firing range. It might have been.
It was right about the same.
It might have been
time.
squashed before, you know, there was ever a need for a Zoom meeting or any other meeting, a public meeting. They might have just taken it off the table. But I don't want to speak for them. I just don't remember.
No, that's what happened. We had asked for a meeting with the neighbors.
Mhm.
And as we got, like I said, we didn't have any problems. We just wanted to know what was going on.
Sure.
And as we think we should, as neighbors, do it, especially with the guns and the wires right behind it
Right.
and all of that. So we had concerns with all of that, for safety reasons, so.
Well, there has been, and a while ago, and this is quite a while ago, probably about the time shortly after you moved in, there was conversation about solar fields back then.
Mhm.
But the infrastructure and the technology wasn't there. Now, you know, 30-plus years later, it's a different conversation. So as Jean Marie alluded to, there's early conversations about putting solar there. There's nothing etched in stone. There's no plan in place. It's just conversation among some of the departments. I'm sure eventually, you know, we'll have a stronger conversation and more in-depth, you know, ask around town, what do we think? But well, I don't think we're there yet or even close to it. It's just been conversation, that's all it has been.
All right, so just a couple of questions on the
Sure.
fence. You're gonna replace the whole fence, you said, all the way around the whole?
We can't fence the entire site for a number of reasons. One is the fact that conservation, DEP conservation will not let us fence something in because the animals get trapped inside. And the deer and the hawks.
Well, that's what we see now.
Fox and whatever.
Turkeys going across the street.
Right,
Like I said,
exactly.
I'm in the living room watching deer going across the property 2 weeks ago.
The other thing is,
So-
if you do anything, as some of you know, within 100 feet of wetlands, it's a much bigger project, right? So that's why we're staying within the original confines of what the fencing is, and that's exactly where we're gonna be.
So what kind of fence is this gonna be?
A black one, black chain link, just like the one around the ball field.
And does it have those slat pieces put in to block?
We were only gonna put them on the Plymouth Street side. I don't know, sometimes it's easier to look through something than it is to look at something, if you know what I mean. Because those things sometimes rip, they blow away in the wind, they can be a little bit of a nuisance sometimes. And just looking at black chain link, I mean, we're talking like the ball field, the playground out behind the central school, 6 feet high, but the same kind of a thing. If you go up to Thatcher Street, you'll see what theirs looks like. The Republic one up there is 6 feet high, same specs that we're proposing.
You know how far they're gonna push it back?
It's gonna be in the same fence line that it's in now, okay?
On the Bridge Street side of it?
The only difference will be, you know, where you go in and out the road, that will be approximately 50 to 54 feet back, the gate will be. So that when a big truck comes by, or even the DPW trucks come in, they can pull off the road. Not park on the side to unlock the gate, but pull in and then unlock the gate. So it just makes it a lot more safer for you folks in that respect, okay?
You know what they're gonna do with in front of the fence, from like entrance to exit?
It's gonna be,
Because now it's a trash yard.
It's gonna be a
Try to
black-
keep it clean, but it's a trash.
well, it's gonna be a black chain link fence.
At the same distance,
From the road, yes, except for where the gates are.
so the in and out will be deeper.
Yeah, exactly. So you can pull off the road. We're just trying to
Because
make
we're hoping that he would get rid of that berm that goes from the fence now to the road, and maybe smooth it out and put something in so people can walk. And legitimate story is one of the neighbors was walking at lunchtime the other day, and was somebody coming down the street at 60 miles an hour and almost hit him. And there's a lot of people who do walk the street, and that's a concern. Is
Maybe
that
that's
speed-
something.
That's an issue that I've dealt with the police, and we'll deal with again, just see what we can do about that. But if there was some type of, from the fence to the street, and I think it's maybe like 5 feet, and I don't know, John would be the best one to answer that. They could flatten that out somehow and put something there so people could use that as a walkway or, so, and I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
everyone
work
wants-
from home and I work in my living room, which, I always keep my windows open, always keep the shades up. And, I always see people going by, jogging, walking their dogs. I ride my bike at lunchtime up and down the street here and there too. And, it's almost to a point where I don't want to do it because, between what Tom said about there's not really much room off the street and, you never, if you're on a bike or walking, you don't have much time if someone decides to come speeding up the other side of the street behind you before it's like, what are we gonna do here?
Can we kind of reach out to John and see if that's a possibility, or I don't know?
Well, there's a couple of things. One is, unfortunately, that's not part of the DEP permit that we're responsible for. Definitely is a concern. John's DPW, so maybe they can do something about it. If not in the immediate fencing project, maybe when they do the solar field, or sometime in between. So that's definitely something we can
Yeah.
reach out to John Haynes about, okay?
I can talk to John on that.
I
You
understand
guys
your
can do it. I
concern
can
about
talk to John on
safety.
that as well. And it's just, it's basically, it's a throw your trash out everywhere, because
Yeah, it's
it's
unfortunately
not
true.
kept clean, it's not cut, all the time and all that, so.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you could put it in with the fencing project.
it's not part of the permit. I'm sorry.
In
But
the
it's
summer of
something we can bring up.
1982, that was part of my Eagle Scout project, was to clean that fence line.
Yeah.
Trim it back and cut it down, clean up the trash and all that.
Really?
Now, that was back in July of 1982. I don't know if it's been done since then.
Well, it's been done at least once more, because a gentleman and his daughter were doing a Girl Scout project.
Oh, okay, great, all
That's
right,
what we
good,
have to
good,
encourage,
good.
eh?
Bring them out some bottles of water and Gatorade.
Yeah,
and I
okay.
thank you so much. It's just one of those things, I'm busy enough keeping this stuff off my own.
Yeah.
People will literally see me out in my yard getting the mail and just throw something right out of their car into my yard. Doesn't happen often, but it's annoying.
Yeah.
It is certainly annoying. So I'll put the link up tomorrow? Okay. She's the IT person, I'm not. I'll admit that
So you're
first.
gonna put it up, right?
Put it up.
Yeah, she'll put it up.
You have my
We'll put-
email, just email it to me and I can email it out to everybody?
Yeah, but it will be on the
It'll be
website.
on the website, and there'll be a link, you'll
Yeah, but
see
if
it,
I
and
send
then
them the
if
link,
Yeah, but
they'll
you-
are you
forward.
signed up for notifications off of the town website? If you're signed up for
know if I am or
notifications,
not.
and you put
I
your
don't get
email in,
anything.
anytime that there's a notification on the site, any site of the town.
Goes out.
It'll come to your email.
But if we could just if we can copy the link and put it in email.
Oh, yeah,
send it
we're
to
gonna do
Tom.
that.
Yeah.
And then,
No
if
problem.
you want to start that chain, have at it.
Well, and I'll tell you, when they started the other two projects, I walked every house on Plymouth Street from the Y up to Bridge and all the way down the corner of Bridge and Pond and got everybody's email address and phone numbers.
Really?
Just so
Okay.
I could keep them, that's
Sure,
when I was
everyone
in
up to
shape,
date,
so.
Yeah, well, thank you for that.
The lack of sidewalks is another story in town, but,
Yeah, we
Well,
can
it is,
see what we can do. I know, that is a story.
so I think, I don't know if we normally actually announce the monitoring report when we get it in.
It's like 110
But I mean,
pages.
Well, if you give it to everybody and they read it, they read it. If they don't read it, then you've done your part.
I think it's
You've done your
important,
part.
as the board was saying, and Jean Marie, is just to have transparency and to make sure that the link is out there. If the residents have any questions, always feel free to call. Jean Marie and I are in the office, we man the office. And we can, it's all public. We can give you what is public record. Anything that comes in stamped, it's public record. But I believe, like as Rob too was saying, if there's a link on the site, you can access it anytime, anywhere, and you can go from that link to another link to another link to hopefully answer your questions.
Okay.
One other question, would it be the DPW then that is responsible for all there's out-of-state trucks parked there?
That would be
The
them.
tree company, I mean, they barrel up and down that street, they fly. My daughter-in-law walks the street, all you can smell is marijuana there in the mornings. It's 6, 7 in the morning, and these guys are getting in trucks, and they're climbing trees. You know, that area has just become just piles of a mess there, such a big change there, so it would be the DPW, not you, that's responsible for that.
For site management and recycling center, yeah, it's a DPW.
But I don't think John wants any of his partners, you know, barreling up and down the street, you know, so if Judge, just reach out to John, I'm sure he'll have a general conversation with his vendor partners, and, you know, it's there, we don't want to be a nuisance. And again, I think when we get the gate setback, you'll see a difference there as well.
Yeah, that is a problem, and I'm
No,
glad
I
you're doing that. That
recognize
is a
that,
huge
yeah.
problem that they get. And there's actually residents that have keys. Because we've seen them go up on a Saturday, once the recycling center's closed, with rolling a trailer.
Yeah, I read that in your note, and
Of
that,
brush and all
I had
that.
some questions on that.
Yeah.
I-
We don't know who it is.
Knowledge
They
of
always
that
go in the
either.
exit. They always come down from the Pond Street side, the Bridgewater side.
I'll
I don't know if it's a Bridgewater resident or not, but
Yeah, I'll reach out to John, because
Yeah.
I'm not too sure, I mean, those could be town employees that are making a run on, I don't know. That I truly don't know.
we don't know because nobody goes over and questions them,
Yeah.
you know, so.
But
It just seemed that there was a lot of, you know, ATVs and motorcycles and dirt bikes and people walking and, well, there's a lot more going on, I think, than people realize.
well, I don't have the set, that's for sure.
Neither do
I
I.
used to, but.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
I hear of them over there when I'm, you know, like I said, working at home.
Yeah, sure.
Not every day, but, you know, often enough that I'm like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah, we realized the kid got hurt seriously there, riding his bike, his dirt bike over there. And I actually have called the cops a couple of times when I heard
Yeah.
kids over there, you know, breaking stuff more or less. When I hear them breaking things, I've called
That's-
them.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you.
Okay? All right, anybody else have anything? No. All right, thank you. Just if you send
Thank
that
you.
link, and I think that.
Yes.
And I think you said it right. I think the biggest thing we're looking for is transparency on it. If you send the link to me and I send it out and people look at it, good. If they don't, then they can't say you didn't.
Yes.
You know, I think that's all we're looking for is transparency when things are going on over there.
So you'll have one from August, and then there'll be another one from September in about 2 or 3 weeks.
All right,
Okay?
yeah, yeah, and I'll send it out to everybody so that you can go look at it if they want.
Sounds great.
All right?
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate you coming in and, you know, giving us any feedback. Usually we ask people to come and give us their thoughts and,
Well, as
Yeah,
I
but
tell you,
there's no
we
one-
knew what was there when we built or bought our houses, so we knew what was there. So it's not a surprise. It's just that we were surprised that we heard, you know, it's been under non-compliance for 5 years. We're going, for what? We don't know, you know, and that's the biggest, I think that's the transparency we're looking at. You know, we know it's more than just a fence. It's just, what is it, you know, so that we, you know, I mean, I have to pressure wash my house every year because of the dirt that just blows over there. So I'm going, if the dirt blows, the gas has got to blow too, so that's people's biggest concerns. All right?
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so we are a little over for our 5:30 appointments. We have a tobacco store applicant wishing to discuss their new location.
No?
Just for the record, if you could state your name and address.
My name's Sakshi Kishan. I'm representing Sarvakia, the applicant.
Thanks for coming in.
Of course.
Do you have anything specific you want to bring to our attention? or-
Yeah, so I was going through the regulations of your town, and I believe it just needs an update. I believe it's just too old at this point. I am looking for an adult-only tobacco store, where most of the towns have like their own definition for that specific store. I tried to find one in the regulation for this town. I was unable to. So basically, the store is there will be a sign on the window saying no person under 21 is allowed to like walk into the store. The difference between this store versus a tobacco store, like a convenience store, a gas station, is pretty much, gas stations and convenience stores are limited to like non-flavor 3% nicotine is on the vape devices. Like they cannot sell more than 3%. According to state definition, smoke shops will be able to do like 5% or higher, obviously no flavors. And the paraphernalia, dispensary accessories, that's what we will be able to sell. I'm not sure that if convenience stores or gas stations are selling this in your town right now. I mean, if they are.
And I'm sorry, what was that, that last element of?
The dispensary paraphilias, it's the glass pipes,
Okay.
vaporizers, bongs. So I didn't see that in the regulation itself. So if a convenience store or gas station is selling it, then they're selling it. But most of the towns obviously limit these to smoke shops only. I have a few locations in North Attleboro and Plainville. We do have a cap on tobacco licenses in both those towns. Like you can have maximum amount of smoke shop is like in North Attleboro is 2. Plainville has just 1. I believe the board does need to look into this to like have a cap on, because technically if anyone can come in, I believe they have a good reason to like present their case and to actually get this license, especially because it's not in your regulation that it's capped, or so you'll need a good reason to. Yeah, so you do want a cap just because you want to still keep minors away from getting this attention. Otherwise, like say I open one, tomorrow there's another one, third there's another one. It's just you're creating a lot of like tobacco stores, and you don't want to get like kids' attention there. So the cap is very important. And I'm not really sure like how many tobacco licenses are in the town already. And if that's just going to like continue till like, so say a new person comes in, they get it. So that's what my concern is.
And is there, excuse me, is there going to be any actual consumption of tobacco
No.
on site?
No, that's a smoking bar. That's what the definition in the state thing is.
So we might want to get this question in front of Chris, and then the select board from there, see what their thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know.
You're the lawyer, so you can,
But right
you
now,
can run with this one.
Also, every town that I know of, most of the towns that I have been in, the Board of Health is like the one responsible for this whole thing. The selectman's office or the town administrator, they do not, does not come in their category, so they will push this on you to make decisions on.
well, we enforce the existing tobacco regulations.
I do when I'm out doing food inspections. Most of mine have both food and tobacco. They have, I forget what year they would put in, but they're over 5 years old. Might be older than that.
I don't know about potentially creating a new category of,
It would require to amend our regulations. We'd need a public hearing. Make up new regs, have a public hearing, and then go from there.
Also, I do believe you guys did have smoke shops prior that closed. I believe Vape Solutions existed, and there was another one that I can't think of. So this is something that your town already did have before. So I'm not sure how they got the thing.
Well, they had tobacco licenses.
The Vape Solutions,
I think so, yep.
do you know when they closed?
It was last year.
Well,
Remember? That was,
We're not sure exactly when they closed, they just were no longer there. I know that sounded funny, but I went to do an inspection and they were,
it
you
was
know,
pretty recently though, right?
yeah, it
It's
was about a
within a
year.
So if it was pretty recently and it was called Vape Solutions and you're walking in, no, personally, no way it's like their nicotine is not like above 3%. There's no reason for them to be there.
They, basically the reason they gave me for closing was the fact that they could no longer sell the flavored.
Yes.
So it's when the state law changed to not allow the flavored that they closed.
Yeah. So another thing I can think of is like they were pretty much running a vape shop. It's just the tobacco license itself. I just came here because I didn't want surprises after. That's why. Yeah.
I
The
don't know.
state has 3 categories: convenience stores / gas stations, adult only tobacco store, and a smoking bar. Smoking bar, forget it, because it doesn't. They will not allow you to open anywhere in Mass now. It has become a state thing. So now it's just convenience store / gas station, and an adult only tobacco store. The only thing is, I mean, people may hate me. The convenience store, gas station, like they should not be selling dispensary accessories, because people, kids and stuff, and they're going to buy drinks and stuff there. I shouldn't be like going to those things to begin with. So that's why the state created a 21+ store that is just like out of sight and the kids can't walk in. So I guess that was a good thing. But these are the two separate things. And then most, like if you go read other towns' regulation, it's the same thing. They have just copied what the state defined as an adult only thing, and they put it in their own definition, and then they just set a cap on. Like the town with the biggest population, with the most population, they probably will be like North Attleboro is like 40,000 people there, and they have 30 tobacco licenses, and then you can only have 2 smoke shop licenses. Plainville has 13 tobacco license, and only 1 can be like an adult only smoke shop. So yeah, setting a cap on this thing is very important, because you don't want adult only tobacco stores going everywhere in East Bridgewater. Yeah, and a lot of stores did close because they were just selling flavored vape juice. But the flavored juice thing happened back in 2020. So if they stayed in business for another, like say, couple of years, they're still eligible to sell nicotine level 3% or more. And I'm sure they were, because that's what their whole business was. There was another smoke shop in East Bridgewater before I did a lot of research. I forgot its name, but they closed down too at some point. I'm not sure when. They closed some. I don't know. I don't exactly remember when, but yeah.
All right, well, I don't know. Would you say, is there an analogous, I guess, town that we would could look at and see what they've done? North Attleboro,
Yeah.
Oh,
or
Plainfield, what you said, 13,000?
North Attleboro is like a bigger town, so I will say read the North Attleboro regulation. You can read Franklin's regulation.
Plainfield's about our size,
Right.
13,000
Yeah.
or 14,000.
So Plainville actually has a cap limit that you can only have 13 tobacco licenses in town. Then
It's
if
some Whitman too, smoke shops. I don't know how many, I can think of 2 or 3 right now, but.
Yeah, their regulations are very similar to ours. The state changed them last year, and we never got around to, we were talking about adopting the states. We never really got to the public hearing process with that.
I remember.
Remember, it was like a year ago,
discussion.
January, remember? We had that discussion.
I think we just made sure we were up to date on like the signage and enforcement side.
Right.
So, do we want to set a public hearing to discuss, or do you think we should?
How about if we have Sarah McLaughlin come in? She's the woman that we talked to by Zoom last time. And her, I forget who the counterpart was around here.
That's right, that's right.
Maybe have them come in and discuss it?
Yeah,
And then-
probably also run it by Chris over
Have-
at,
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one, Rob.
and then we'll see where the public hearing goes, and then that way they will.
Right.
We'll have as much information as we
Yeah.
get before we pull the trigger on the public hearing.
You know, she can propose some regulations for us. Look at those, have Chris look at them, and then set a public hearing.
You know, I think that makes sense. When are you planning on opening the business?
It's actually, he's the landlord.
Oh, where are you, landlord?
Yeah.
I own the building down there across from the mobile station.
Okay.
There's the dry cleaner, 494 North Bedford Street.
Mhm.
Kitchen's are us, the beauty bar is
Oh,
there.
okay, gotcha.
Okay, yeah,
Right next to the gun shop.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's been vacant for a little bit. I had a sports memorabilia guy in there that was doing a little bit more than sports memorabilia, so,
Oh,
Yeah, that hurts.
it wasn't good. So I got him out of here.
okay.
It's ready to go, so obviously, the quicker I get somebody in there, the quicker I start,
Sure, sure.
getting some of my money back, so.
I think you're looking at probably about 2 months, right? Between developing the regulations, having legal look at them, and then, publishing the public hearing and having the hearing.
Yeah.
Does it prevent him from opening a store, even if it goes to a public hearing to get, to get his cap on his,
The part he wants, some of the things that he wants, we don't have the legality in place right now to do. He can open as a smoke shop, but some of the paraphernalia.
Yeah,
But he
that's,
could go-
Let me take a look at my regs again,
yeah.
okay?
Yeah, that's the definition. If you read the state's definition, that's what it says on the state's definition itself. That is the purpose of a smoke shop. Otherwise, if I don't open a smoke shop, may as well go open a convenience store at that point, right?
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah. Right now, I'm pretty sure if I am in East Bridgewater, I have a gas station or a convenience store in East Bridgewater, I can sell those products at the place currently, and unfortunately, you can't do anything about it because you don't have that in your regulation, right? So.
Right, so I'm saying to you, if you want to limit it to 21 and over, that is definitely your decision, not something like you
Yeah,
just said I
but
could
here's the
enforce.
thing. State's definition says that if it's a convenience store / a gas station, you are limited to 3% nicotine vaping. Unflavored,
understand.
right? Smoke shop's purpose is like you are allowed to sell nicotine level 3% or higher. So I can sell 5%, but that's something a convenience store and gas station can't do. So since I'm not going for food, I'm not going for any other thing, my whole business is about tobacco and the thing, right? So for some reason, yeah, so I can open it, but I'm not sure how the board's, if I can open one, I'm not sure how the board's going to decide later that, hey, we can't let him sell that. Then I'll be in a boat, you know?
No, I got it.
So, for example, there is Whitman's close to you, right? There's a Leaf and Legends about there. There's a Main Street cigar smoke shop somewhere around there, and that's what you can, if you see their door walking in, it just says, under 21, do not pretty much enter. I have 2 smoke shops in North Attleboro, so luckily if somebody else tries to, they can't really because in their regulation it says they're limited to 2, right? And both have signs on the window. They do have a dispensary there, so it kind of does make sense. So think about it, when people actually, when the state legalized marijuana, they're also expecting people to go buy the accessories from somewhere, right? Where would that be? They're not going to dispensary all the time just to buy a roll of papers or pipes or stuff, right? That's where you have to go to a adult-only tobacco store. So, yeah.
All right.
Like I said, it's going to take us a couple of months.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to do a little bit more of our homework and figure out, where we are, where we want to be. And then perhaps do an informational session.
So our next meeting's October 7th, so if you can see if you can get Sarah, or she can make
Okay.
the October 7th meeting,
All right.
and so we can,
Maybe.
She probably has some regulations in mind. I can certainly send them out to you beforehand, okay?
and in the meantime, we can also do the search, like you said, North Attleboro, we can look at their regulations, we can look at Franklin's regulations, we can circulate it to the board to look, see what the Wales looks like and how you can, if the board so chooses to incorporate it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And obviously, the faster, the better. Just giving him some sort of, assurance that.
Okay, so obviously he's in the thing. So my only question is there, so far what we talked about, what I gave the definition stuff, is there a reason you deny a store like that? so I can like know what to like have talk with him, you know? And you three are in full control of this because this is Board of Health. You are the one that's sending out the permit, so this is your decision. Selectmen's office or whoever you want to talk to, that's great, and there's no doubt about it, but it comes down to you three to like really come down on this.
I can't speak for the other members, but the only thing that would have me vote against it would be strong pushback from the community. If the town really, really did not want it in town,
Yeah.
that would be the only way I'd say no to you.
Yeah, I gotta double check our zoning, just to make
But-
sure.
Yeah, and just from, I'm just gonna speak as a parent, but not from the town, to have it, I was unaware that the gas stations and something like that can go ahead and sell the PELF and the
Yeah.
other stuff that goes along with it. So
Right.
that means anyone anyone can go in and grab that, or do they have to show a card that they're 21?
They have to, yeah, they have to show cards.
So, for example, North
I do.
Attleboro, those 28, 30 tobacco licenses I talked about, where 2 smoke shops, the other 28, they're not allowed to sell any pipes or like any of those, like 3% nicotine max, they're not allowed to sell any accessories. They can sell papers, but they're not allowed to sell pipes, vaporizers, bongs. They're banned from selling those products because you can only go, because they don't want kids coming to buy a drink and their eyes going on those pipes and bongs. That's why the state created 21 plus tobacco stores. So, stays away from the kids and then their eyes don't go on like the things they don't need to go on. So yeah, you don't have that regulation in this town. So right now, gas station and convenience stores, they can put that thing out there because you didn't decide to have, you don't have adult-only smoke shop and you don't have that regulation that says, hey, only adult-only smoke shop will be able to sell this thing. So right now they can, if they want to. I'm not sure if they are, but
They do across the street.
see, so,
At the mobile, at the high-low gas station.
so if anything,
He's
I'm
got
doing a
pipes,
favor.
paraphernalia and everything in the store.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a favor that like, you need to get those things off. They're going to hate me, but you need to get those things off from the convenience stores and gas stations and just like let the adult-only tobacco stores sell it. Because it's a good thing, right? Because their eyes won't go on those things and you're separating that business. That's how it is. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is in North Attleboro. Plainville, same thing. Just, we only have 1 smoke shop there and the other stores are banned from selling anything related to hemp or like anything, same like accessories. Yeah. If anything, the parents should be, if they come here, they should be thanking me because like I'm like helping out their kids in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, it would be more restrictive, I guess,
Correct.
than what we
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
Correct.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Just from
So
a
you'll be,
parent's
yeah,
perspective.
so you will be in good hands with parents, right? You'll
I don't
like
know.
that. Yeah.
All right, well, appreciate you coming out. We're gonna, I guess, see what we can do to get some people in on our next meeting on, is it October 7th?
Mhm. Yep, we'll get the board so that they can have another discussion on October 7th. You can look at some of the other regulations, also in the other towns, if you want to just
Yeah.
review it.
All right.
All right. So, yeah, because now the thing is, obviously, there's a good chance I may not be here because if he rents out this place, then the place is gone. You know, so
Yep.
there is that situation as well. Is there any way, like, you're able to speak to these people, like the person inside the department in the next couple of days, and we can know something about it?
But the next public meeting we have is October 7th.
Okay.
So
All right.
that'll be the next time the board would even look at any information that,
It's just gonna open up a whole can of worms, though.
Yeah.
It's gonna get.
there's a reason there's
It's all
weeks
gonna be
between.
public knowledge.
Well, it's all public now.
This place is gonna fill with that. So it's gonna be basically then you're gonna have a job of going to all these gas stations, selling the paraphernalia illegally. It's gonna be a show.
Yeah, so they're all going to hate me is what's going to happen, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
regulations are not gonna go into effect immediately.
Yeah, and this should have been, like, I'm not sure what happened to East Bridgewater, this should have been in the regulation, like, long time ago.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, so right now, because when I apply to the state, they're actually going to give me it says like a age restricted store, right? Yeah, my only concern, I'm not sure what my concern is. My concern is, say I signed the thing October 1st, and then there's some parent here obviously against it, but I'm kind of confused. Why would they be against it? Because I'm trying to take this product off the convenience stores and gas station to like separate it, and clearly state does allow it. So yeah,
Wait till October 7th.
if you're okay with
Yeah,
that.
I'm fine.
Okay, all right. So we can rediscuss this October
I
7th.
just want to see
Hopefully.
how many people show up.
No one's gonna be here. I'm telling you. It's gonna be.
I
No
know
one's
this
gonna be
town.
here.
I've been in this town long, I know everything.
No, yeah,
I've been to a few of these meetings, so it's gonna just get.
Yeah. No, honestly, it's like all the towns I have smoke shops in, no one actually showed up, so I'm not like genuinely worried. Yeah. But yeah, we can wait October 7th and hopefully have a decision then.
Who makes the rule, just a separate question, who makes the rule for dispensaries?
That was
The
voted at
state.
town meeting.
The state.
Where does that come from?
Mass Department of Public Health.
Oh, they do it, so then they pick
We have-
they pick Whitman.
No, we
No, the
turned it
select
down
board.
at town meeting. It was
Oh,
voted
so
against.
It comes from East Bridgewater.
The voters of the town voted against allowing dispensaries.
But that would be a selectmen meeting type of a thing then?
No,
No,
town.
town meeting.
It was the annual meeting.
Townwide.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I think there was a slightly different procedural issue if we were gonna reverse what the town did or something, but it was decided at town meeting anyways, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm for it anyways, but I was just wondering, because obviously, there's a little bit different from a smoke to marijuana. It changes a lot, just with the town alone, so.
But those are inspected by the state and the licenses are given out by the state. Mass Department of Public Health.
Okay, so the only thing I want the board to notice is obviously look at the regulations for North Attleboro and Franklin. And also, I believe there should be a cap on this. You do need to have, I think in the next public hearing, I'll say like, you should think about putting a cap on, because if I end up getting this smoke shop license, I don't see why someone else would not have problem getting the same license then, right? Because I come and get it, here comes another person, I want to open a smoke shop. What reason are you gonna give him that he can't open? Unless it says in your regulations that you have limited to one. Otherwise, the board has not a legitimate reason to like deny them.
No.
So cap's very important. Even on like tobacco licenses itself, I'm not sure how many tobacco licenses are in this town already. Maybe 12, maybe 10.
Somewhere in that range.
Because they're mixed, right?
Yeah,
It's-
right.
Yeah.
They're mixed
Yeah.
because of.
So that's how it
gas
should be.
Convenience stores.
Like Plainville, for example, they have 13 tobacco licenses right now, and if 3 don't renew, they will retire those 3 licenses, and it goes down to 10, right? And then someone like doesn't want to renew, it goes to 9, then 1 becomes available, and then they can open another like convenience store or tobacco store there. So right now, I believe that's also very important that we have a cap on in this town as well, because you don't want 40 tobacco licenses, right? Right? Somebody comes in, hey, I want to open a tobacco convenience store. Here you go. I want to open another convenience store. Here you go. So I guess like there should be a limit on that thing, right? So that's what the board needs to look into, and obviously capping the smoke shop license as well.
Does the CVS and Cumberland Farms, and do they have to come before the board to get a tobacco license from the town to sell cigarettes and stuff like that? Or they can just?
Well, CVS no longer sells them because
Yeah,
it thought that the
Cumberland
pharmacy and
Farms
the,
Or, you know, any of your
Um,
convenience stores in town.
they can, they're all renewable because they've had it already.
Oh, they've already had them prior.
Yeah.
But what happens if a new
A
store
new one?
wants to come in?
It comes in like a food establishment. They apply to the board.
Yeah.
If they fill out the paperwork and meet the regulations, then they're granted it.
There's no
Yeah.
cap.
There's no cap. Yeah. Yeah, some towns it's very difficult these days just to get tobacco license because of the cap. And it's a good thing, it kind of like settles down the market a little bit. Yeah. All right, yeah, so my only concern is if you do grant it, next meeting, we should not be allowing like more smoke shops to come open in this town, right? As a parent, you're concerned, right? So why have more than one, especially with looking at the population and the geography of this town?
It has to be part of the regulations, though.
Correct.
The cap has to be part of the regulations that the
Correct.
board votes on. Right.
yeah, right now, looking at it from the regulation, if I am asking you to give me one, I don't think you have a reason to not give me one, because it's not in your regulation, correct?
Right.
Right? Okay, but yeah, just wanna be respectful and, do not want any surprises after, that's why I just wanted to like come discuss this. All right?
Gotcha.
So hopefully October 7th, we can finalize this.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And where are we? Do we have
Want to
anything?
go back
Kicked off here.
to the Bridge Street landfill?
Not the concerns.
I'm sorry?
The Bridge
Go
Street.
back to the Bridge Street landfill because the board was discussing how you would like to move forward with the new specs.
Right.
Or do you want to do engineering and get new specs?
Or do we want to what?
Do engineering to get new specs.
I mean, so my concern is sort of cuts both ways. One, obviously, that's a fairly expensive price
That's the point.
to get new specs. But at the same time, you know, I don't want us to have to try to compare apples to oranges and figure out, you know, the best bid on a project if they're not all,
Apples to apples.
you know, doing I mean, whether it's the MassDOT specifications or if it's our own specifications. I just want to make sure they're tight enough that we're getting, you know, comparable bids, and we're going to get a fence that is going to do what we need to do for, you know, many years. I don't know how you guys,
Did John or Brian have any guidance on what we got back? Did they look at even a cursory overview of what came back, and
John
do you have any
Haynes?
thoughts?
John Haynes?
Yeah, John.
Okay. DPW director? No, you didn't. You know, you kind of said that's your part of the job.
I'm sorry?
The specs were made up by the town administrator,
Yeah, okay.
and that's what we went with. But if we rebid it, we're gonna have to put it out to bid, and that's gonna have a cost to it. I forget how much.
It would be $205.
Yeah, to
put
rebid
out.
it.
We'll have a hearing.
Puts the project back about 2 months, month and a half. Sampson and Wesson came in around 15,000 for the engineering specs and 10,000 to do any inspections of it when it's being built. So that's the cost we had for that.
do we have another option?
Charlie said you could accept the bids and
Gave you,
award the contract. And if you decide not to award the contract, then you have to go to Weston and Sampson to develop more specific or bid specifications.
So we can, we can award
The contract.
the contract based on the previous
Yeah,
bids.
which I brought them. Do you want
We
to take?
could
where is this?
rebid with the same specs or different specs of our own. Or we could have the engineer come in, do their own bidding at a cost of 15 to 20.
Send it out to Weston and Sampson to have them develop the specs and then rebid it.
Yeah.
So we can
Well,
either.
I think the 15,000 was for the specs,
Yes,
and then there was an additional 10,000.
probably for inspections of the fence when it's being constructed.
They can't just do this specs and then,
I think they can. That would be the 15,000.
what was the highest bid that
It
came in?
ran from
Or the lowest bid that came in?
125 to,
I mean, they were all above what
no,
we budgeted.
125 to
125, we had 150.
178.
But we're already down to, out of the 150, I believe like we're down to 130.
Yeah.
And then if we take out,
So you've got 1, 2,
we're gonna
3.
be,
You have 3 in
a
that.
deficit
Yeah.
if we use Weston and Sampson. But you need specs, because you can't send it out because.
Well, we sent it out with specs. They're,
You did, but
Denying
then
them.
we got this, but this is why you got such the range that you received, because, I mean, you did up some good specs though, Jean Marie.
I know that.
She did. I know that, she did do some.
John and I
really good-
worked with them in January and February and really got them and sent them to Charlie at the end of February.
So can we try to,
I tried.
Do you give the specs to the board for the board to review, and then they can make a decision?
Well,
What about, can we
we
add
did
this
at
to
one
the?
point, but they went to Charlie because Charlie's the procurement officer. So he makes kind of the final decision in the,
I'm just, if we have more specific specifications in existence.
I know we have, on the 30th, we've got a special meeting. Can we add this to that meeting?
yeah, we
And we
can.
can all just do just one more little bit of research to figure out if we're gonna need to spend 25,000 or is what we have good enough?
So would you like Jean Marie, then we can send out the specs that she came up
Sure.
with to the board? so
I'm
that
not,
you
I'm
can
not a
review
fence
it, and
engineer,
then
but
we'll-
I,
And
yeah,
I'll go through these and see what meets them,
yeah.
because if someone doesn't meet them, is
Yep.
lower than them, then we probably don't need to look
Why-
at that one.
Why don't we, can we do the specs that we use to actually bid the project? The more detailed specs that we had developed prior, and then maybe just to sort of do a highlight of which bids
If someone doesn't meet them, I'll let you know.
meet, I guess, each set of
Yep.
specs.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then we'll at least know if it makes sense to rebid it, or if we can see if we can actually compare it apples to apples
Yeah.
and go from there. I think that makes sense. So we're gonna push that one back to our,
30th.
30th. We have a special meeting for housing on the 30th,
Right.
so I'll just add that to it.
okay. So are we down to health agent updates?
Yes.
Wait a minute, let me find it.
Third. Fourth page.
Fourth page?
Yeah. The fifth page.
This should be quick. Site assessments for new construction, you've already looked at it. 359, 369 West Street, 341 Winter Street, Lot 2. Repairs 142 Chestnut Street and 863 Plymouth Street. Plans submitted, we already went through all those. New systems under construction now is 161 Anna Drive, Lot 1 Stone Ridge, Lot 4 Stone Ridge, 19 Daisy Lane, and 21 Daisy Lane. Repairs under construction right now, 373 Union Street, 22 Hereford Lane, 452 North Central Street, 14 Bryant Road, 18 Roderick Terrace, and 150 West Street. Food inspections, I did the schools. The 3 schools are done. They did awesome. Very good job. And a new bakery, Family Lead Bakery, it's residential. And I thought I was doing Honeydew Donuts, but he's canceled till this week, so that will be on the radar very soon. Housing, we have ongoing. 90 Central Street, we just closed out. 522 Washington Street, my final inspection for that is on Friday. 6110 Bedford Street, I just closed out. 165 Bridge Street's on October 29th. And 582 Bridge Street is, he just canceled the inspection. I'll be starting that on Thursday.
What's 582 Bridge Street?
A request for inspection.
I'm sorry?
A request for inspection?
Okay, so.
I don't know yet, because I haven't
Okay,
been
you
out
have been
there.
out there, okay.
I will be doing that Thursday.
Okay.
Bridge Street landfill, we kind of have gone through. West Nile virus and Triple E, we are at serious for both of those. We've had cases of humans in both, not in East Bridgewater, but surrounding towns. I just gave Tom just a little FYI about the other 2 viruses that I don't think they were concerned this year, Danu and Chickamauga, But next year, I think we gotta watch for them, because they're gonna start popping. They usually run 3-year cycles, so we should be in good shape.
Have we, can we see any sort of impact for the aerial spraying, or? I don't know if it's something you can.
I've been doing like 6-hour perks outside, and I haven't been bitten, although something's been biting my feet, like fleas or something. But I mean, mosquito-wise, I haven't seen much. Oh, just an FYI, because these viruses show up in birds first, we are getting dead birds. Not tons, but more than we had in the past. Usually animals will eat the birds when they die. They're not touching them. So that, you know, there's a little bit of concern there. We saw that with H1N1, remember?
Yep.
So we partnered for HPHEG, the regional health group. I partnered with the library on the recent insect walk. It seemed a good time to take my tick removal kits out and hand them out. And I discussed Triple E and West Nile virus precautions at that time too. So that's been about it for me.
All right, anything else? Topics not reasonably anticipated?
No. I'm sorry, the only one thing was for the commercial club. They submitted all their documentation, so they're all set for their Chili Fest, and it looks like they have a good amount of chili and chowder contestants, so.
And
it
what,
looks like it
do we know the
should be
date
fun.
of the
I
chili?
believe it's September 28th.
Just for the people like me that forget until the day after.
One weekend's a car show, and the next weekend is the Chili Fest.
No, it says September
Last Saturday.
28th.
Okay, 28th. 21st must be the car show,
All right.
so,
Anything else?
no, I'm done.
All right, well, that was a long one. I will entertain a motion to bring the meeting to a close.
I will make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that'll bring us to a close. We have a special meeting on, is it October 7th?
September 30th is our special
Oh.
meeting just in regards to a housing issue, and we'll continue the,
Tobacco discussion,
no,
wasn't it? Oh, landfill, sorry.
landfill,
Wrong one.
landfill discussion on the specs.
All right.
And then our next formal board meeting is October 7th.
October 7th. All right. We will see you then.